Soulless dead. Brotherhood. Chapter 7. Comrade. We grabbed all of our gear as we got off the train. We stretched. It was a sigh of relief, but a sigh too soon. We were afraid of our futures, what was going to happen to us. It's kind of sad. If anybody was going to survive the zombie apocalypse, it'd be rednecks, armed to the teeth and as closed off as they come, I thought. We made our way down the streets, walking God knows where as the two led us. My father would ask them questions periodically, but I could tell they had to hide something. I looked around and it was definitely a far cry from where I'm from. There was nothing here, no tall towers, no stores, not so much as any kind of fun thing to see for miles. Just dust and corrugated steel buildings. It was sad. I'd laugh a little bit. Freaking rednecks. My dad would elbow me as I started to laugh. Stop it, he gritted his teeth as he looked at me. But I'd do it anyway. Grief. The only difference between this place is as the sun went down, we could actually see the stars. It was getting later in the afternoon, and we finally made it to a intersection in the road. We could see a pickup truck parked with a bunch of boxes sitting outside of it. A man was sitting next to a map and pointing kids in all which directions. They would pull little red wagons full of supplies, water next to a pump station, or just food and all kinds of clothing. He looked up at us as he looked at Trenton and Sam. "Who are these two people?" as he clutched his shotgun in the back of the truck. He looked flustered and tired. "They're just outsiders. They're coming through." "Outsiders? You remember what happened last time?" Trenton looked up. Whoa. We just need to relax." My dad began to walk forward. "Sir," as he raised his hands, "you shut up. I'm talking to my boys." "Who are these people?" Sam said, "Before you get mad. They came in on the rails. We didn't expect it." "The rails?" "Ha!" He laughed out loud, looking at us. "I would have never thought of that." Sam, again, trying to calm him down. "I did. That's what I thought, too. They came in on the rails. They're good people. They barely have anything, sir. I don't have time for this, and I don't have the resources to be feeding more people. You know what's happening in the next town over." "Not right now, sir." "Who is this person?" my dad asked. "Is he your father?" Sam and Trent looked over. "Oh, no. This is our coordinator, I guess, if you will. He sends us where we need to go. We've been working for him for the past couple weeks. We've been organizing stuff." "You need to tell them everything," he said to us. "Who are you? State your name. Who's your leader?" Trevor elbowed my dad. He looked at him. "My name is Dr. James Whitman. We're from New York." "Oh, boys, you are far away from home. Not to be all deliverancy, but do you really belong here?" My dad said, No, sir, we do not. We came out here for a reason." "Well, really? Isn't that the question of the day? Well, let's play a game. 21 questions. If I don't like your answer, I send you guys out of here. You're zombie chow. How about that? We came in on the train. We have fuel, but we're all exhausted. We just want to rest. We were stopped by your people. We don't want to cause any trouble. We just need a place to be boarded up. Well, hotel's full, and I can't afford to feed any. We don't need supplies, sir," my father said, again raising his hands. Trying to be as submissive as possible, I could tell my dad was afraid. Not knowing our futures, this is more of a Western Justice-style place, I could tell. The last time we had outsiders come out here that wanted help, and didn't want anything, they just wanted a place to sleep, they left and came back and tried to slit our throats in our sleep. Every one of us. And you know what? Their heads are on pikes outside of town, warning us. My dad said, "Again, we don't want anything like that. We'll do anything. We'll work for you. I can't use you. But I do have an idea. Sam, Trenton, you boys are on watch duty on the river tonight." "Sir, they have kids." "I don't care. Watch duty. Go." They began to walk away as they shouldered up their rifles. "Come on, guys," they said to us. We made our way down. I asked him, "What's watch duty?" "Well," Sam turned around, "we go down to the river. Just across this river, down by the nature trail, is a small town just across the river named Compton. We communicate with them regularly. We're a community. We work together, if you will." Trenton started in. Yep, we've been talking to them lately, and we use fire signals and maybe a walkie-talkie if we have the batteries. We communicate with them. If anything bad's happened over there or anything bad's happened over here, we can respond and tell them what's going on through fire or, you know, three lights for danger, 2 lights for things are acting funny or something's going on, or 1 fire for all green. Really? Yeah, we have it set up on the bank. Just inside, a little bit inside the woods, we have our little encampment, so we just communicate that way. They stretched a cable over across a couple weeks ago with a John boat. Every so often they'll send some people over here to talk to us, and we'll send a boy back up to the town. They handed off information, you know, track and field style with a baton, if you will. They tell what's going on, and we just communicate that way. The cell towers went down a few weeks ago, so it's been hell for us to communicate. We lost internet. We haven't been able to talk to anybody. Really. Yeah, what with crazy people wanting to escape into the countryside because of television and whatnot, we've been getting all kinds of people. We've lost a lot of people, too. That's terrible, I thought. My dad said, you can be assured as soon as we get rested up, we're leaving tomorrow. We're heading down. Out of here. Where are you headed? I understand, but why? Well, as I said, there's a CDC place down there, we believe. Are you sure, Doc? What do they got down there? Well, they have McConnell Air Force Base, judging by what my maps are telling me. Trenton said, oh yeah, McConnell. We had a friend that lived down there. He tells us about that. His dad was in the military. He lives down there. They might just have something like that. It is a major Air Force Base, and they have lots of planes down there, Sam said, like factories and everything. Wouldn't that be important? I should think so, Trenton said to him. Well, what makes you think it's down there? I had a friend back when I was living in New York said that they have a base of operations for disease control down there. It might have been hearsay, but anything's better than being in a population-dense state like New York. Trenton scratched his beard. I guess you're right. That does make a lot of sense. You're a lot better off here, but the problem is we're worried about a lot of people thinking the same thing. And unfortunately, you might be right. We continued down the path and made our way down towards the river on a nice old nature trail. It's beautiful back here, my mom said. Yeah, we used to come down here as kids a lot. A lot of fights, a lot of drinking parties, you know, kid stuff. My mom smiled as she put on a fake facade. Yeah, kid stuff. I laughed a little inside, like a honky-tonk party or whatever, like in the country songs. Sam looked over at us. You know, not all of us are red-blooded hicks. We're all the same people. I mean, for God's sakes. Everybody from New York is a yuppie. How does it sound? I thought about it for a moment. Not too great. I think I like you guys. You're not like the stereotypical people. Look, this isn't Texas or the South. This is Kansas. It's mostly farms and, like, 2 college towns. You're fine. You're not going to be running into any Deliverance-style situations where a hillbilly's going to do things to you. Thank God, I said. My dad said, do you have any doctors here? We have a vet and a couple other nurses and stuff, but no real doctors. How have you people been getting by? Well, unfortunately, not too well. A lot of the elderly folk that lived here in one of the elderly communities here, a lot of them have passed away. Be it that there's no one here to protect them or help them, or no one here to regulate their meds. People just up and left. It was horrible. It does sound horrible, my dad said. Eventually we made it down towards the river. A man with a torch was walking along, lighting tiki torches along the path. What's that for? My father said, well, the path gets really dark at night. There isn't exactly a lot of lampposts around here, so we have to keep it lit somehow. We can't really run an electrical line down here either. It's a waste of power, what little power we have from the solar panels. We try to ration it, but tiki torches last a long time. We have an abundance of kerosene and tiki fluid, so we're good to go. We made our way over and we could see a group of men with rifles sitting around a campfire eating fish that they caught from the river. Who are the new people? You brought a lot of them down here, and kids? Man, we must really be hurting for security around here, one of the men said, heckling the 2 men. Sam started, relax, guys. We're watching. They're just coming through. The men began to stand up holding their guns. Not like that, Trenton said. Relax, guys. They've got more than they need for themselves. They're just stopping by. They came in on the rails. So you're the people that came in on the rails. Where are you from? A few of us answered New York and other places. Boys are a long way from home. My dad said under his breath, we're starting to hear that quite a bit, I guess. We sat at separate campfires. Trenton and Sam tried their best to try to keep us entertained as it got later. We looked across the river periodically. Nothing was going on. We could hear people laughing from across the river. It was wide enough to where we couldn't tell where they were saying, but it was long enough to where we couldn't get into them. The river was high, so we couldn't exactly swim across. We were quiet. We were telling stories and talking. So you said you had a friend down south? Yeah, Sam said. He moved from here a few years back. He moved down to Wichita. He's pretty lonely. He's been living down there for quite some time, but if anybody's going to survive, it's that crazy guy. Trenton laughed. Yeah, he's been a good friend of ours, and we try to communicate as much as possible through something like TeamSpeak or anything we can get on the internet, but when the internet went down around here, we couldn't really get a hold of him. I'm sure he's worried sick about us. He's the kind of guy that does that. But that guy had plenty of weapons and plenty of clubs and knives and swords, so he should be doing okay. Yeah, where was he from? If there was a place he was going to go? He said something about Rose Hill. Trenton started back at Sam. Yeah, the small town. If any place is safe, it's that. Well, what do you mean? Safe there? Isn't Wichita a small town? Oh no, Sam said. No, it's like the air capital of the Midwest. They build planes there. It's an industrial city. They build planes, they have bases, they have everything that a big city should have. I mean, it's pretty dense in population. A lot of poor folk and whatnot, according to what I've read. But it's nice, for him at least. He's looking for work and whatnot. But that's beside the point. As we were laughing, we saw two fires get lit across. Trenton stood up and lit two fires. He began to wave a torch to confirm if that was true or not. The torch waved back. He started over to one of the guys. You need to go up there and tell them in Compton something's going on over there, okay? Something is going on. Well, what's going on? I have no idea. That's why we have the damn fires. Now make your way up to the town. One of the men took off as fast as he could, running up the road. He sat down by us. What's happening, my dad said, as he was startled. Oh, it's nothing. They're probably dealing with some zombies or something like that. Dealing with them? That's serious. What if someone gets bit, my father said. Don't worry about it. We're rednecks, remember? We'll survive. Only moments later, we heard gunshots and barrel flashes everywhere. We could hear people yelling and screaming. The barrel flashes were coming from all over, from the edge of the water all the way around. What's going on, everybody? Jumped forward. The men on the other side of the camp began to grab their guns, and I could hear guns being loaded and cocked. What's happening over there? Sam and Trenton went over to talk to them. They began arguing. Wait a second, one of the men called out as he was holding onto the rope that was tethered across. Someone's coming across. I can't tell. Eventually, we could see the silhouette of a John boat being pulled across. One of the men had a wound on his arm. It was a bite mark. Oh my God, they said, as they waded out into the shallows of the water, pulling him out and dragging him to shore. He had a gunshot wound to his shoulder and a bite mark, several of them all over his right side. What happened to you? There's zombies everywhere. Random gunshots started first. We didn't know where it was coming from. It's dark over there. And then all of a sudden, we started seeing the dead pour in large numbers. All of a sudden, we heard some people yelling out in the woods. Two men came out. We were looking for something to eat. There's a couple zombies heading our way. They took Philip. What? Philip? Who's Philip? I asked. Don't worry about it. Everybody, we need to head up the trail and get back to town and relay this message. All of a sudden, we could see the 3 fires being lit. 3 fires! There's something going on! We need to get the hell out of here! Sam looked up. Shouldn't we light the 3rd fire? It doesn't matter! We need to get back to town and warn the town! As we made our way up the trail, we could see a few of the dead wander in. It was so black in the forest that we couldn't see very far in. One of the dead scrambled towards Trevor and knocked him over. Trenton was able to pull him off and stick a knife to the top of his head. As we slowly started to make our way up the trail, We were freaking out. More dead were showing up, so we picked up the pace. I tripped and hit my head against a rock, and I passed out. Last thing I saw was everyone scrambling their way up the trail. I came to only moments later, hearing the gunfire from on the beach. Apparently the zombies had made it there. I was fuzzy. I was woozy. My head was bleeding. I looked up and one of the dead began to shuffle towards me slowly, with a wide, gaunt gape. I freaked out trying to scramble, breathing heavily. I didn't know what to do. I grabbed a rock and threw it at it, but I missed and only hit it in the shoulder. It didn't bother it in the least. It continued to advance towards me. I grabbed a stick, and as I swung it, the stick broke in half. It was half eaten by termites, and it rotted and sprinkled all over me. I didn't know what to do, and all of a sudden I heard a growl from a person jumping over a part of the log. It was Trenton. He jumped over and put his shoulder right into the middle of the zombie, hitting him into a small drainage ditch. They both fell into it. I could hear groaning and moaning, and the dead began to make its way up towards me again. I saw Trenton reach up with his hand, grabbing it in the muddy part of the ditch, pulling it down. The zombie slipped and hit its head against the ground. He pulled one of his knives out of his sheath and stuck it in the head of it, and then used it as leverage to climb out of the ditch. "Damn, my wrist!" he said, hissing. "Are you okay, kid? Come on, you need to get up." He grabbed my shirt and we ran as fast as he could. "Wait, I'm slow down," he said. "No time, we need to catch up with the rest of them. They're worried sick." Eventually we saw Sam halfway up the trail. We could see more of them closing in around him. He was swinging a machete and swinging the butt of his gun around. He was knocking them over, but he wasn't doing a lot of damage. He leaned over and sliced one of the zombies' jaws off as it was hanging over. It continued to advance forward, and he kicked it off with his foot. He was exhausted. He must have been fighting them off. Trenton ran forward with his knife and grabbed two of them by the back of the collars and yanked them to the ground. He put his foot into the face of one of them. The blood that spurted out was like curdled red milk. It was disgusting, and the smell was horrible. He reached over and put the knife in the other one as it tried to scramble up to bite him in the ankle. The other three were advancing towards Sam as he started to hack at their heads. The blade would glance off because of the flimsy steel. It would only take off part of the skull, exposing some of the brain, and more of that disgusting red curdled fluid would pour out of its head. The stench was unbearable, but I picked up a large, hefty rock and chucked it. It hit one of the dead in the back of the head as it advanced towards Sam. Its head jerked back, and it then fell onto the ground. "Good shot, kid," and he grabbed me by the collar again. We started moving. "Sam, are you okay?" "Just a little tired. It's been a while since I fought that hard." We eventually made it to the opening of the trail, with more of them piling in behind us. We piled everybody we could in the back of a truck. Some of the people began to show up. "Man, it's horrible back there. What's going on?" "We'll hold them off from here. More reinforcements should be coming. I got on the emergency radio, and they're coming. They're making their way down here. Warn the rest of the town." We piled everybody in the back of a pickup truck, and we started the engine, kicking up gravel as the dead began to walk behind us. The men were fighting valiantly. We didn't know what to do. The rocks were being kicked up all around and hit a few zombies in the eyes, knocking them over but not killing them. One of the dead tried to reach up and grab at one of the people that was surviving with us, almost yanking him out. Trenton got out of the truck cab and made his way over, bashing it against the truck. He took a tire iron and stuck it through the back of its head, and it went limp. More of that disgusting fluid poured everywhere. "God, the smell's atrocious," one of the men said. "Get used to it," as Trenton wiped the blood off of his hands. We got back in the truck and we made our way down. As soon as we were passing through it, we saw another truck speeding way faster than us down the gravel road towards the carnage. We made our way to the head of the trail and we could see a man with a torch waving it. "You people need to get out of here. It's not safe. There's something going on. There's dead everywhere." "No shit," Sam poked his head out the window. "Tell that to the people down there. 3 fires! 3 fires!" The man looked like he saw a ghost. "You're kidding me!" As soon as he did, a zombie came up from behind him. "Look out," Trenton said. The man turned around and hit it in the head with his torch. It fell over and he was able to stomp it to death. "You boys need to get back home. Get your family. Something needs to be done. Tell as many people as you can." Trenton grabbed a megaphone out from the bottom of his seat and began yelling 3 fires as they headed towards their house. It was absolute carnage. We saw people running around with guns, Muzzle flashes everywhere in the darkness. The bonfires lit our way, but it wasn't enough light to see what was going on. Apparently these things were everywhere. There's hundreds of them, Trenton said. Don't worry about that, Sam said. We need to make our way back to your place. I hope our families are safe, he said. We made our way to their home. We got out in a hurry. Pouring out, we made our way to the door. Sam and Trenton knocked on the door as fast as they could. Trenton's father, a big man with a shotgun, came out. What's going on? Dad, let us in. Who are these people? Just let us in, please. They're friends. We made our way inside the house. It was big. All their families were there. We were all out of breath. What's going on? 3 fires, Dad. His jaw dropped. Get everything you can, as he rallied the families. Everybody immediately got up and started going to their respective places, grabbing boxes and making their way towards the garage. Geez, everybody's so ready, my father said. The man looked at him and put a shotgun in his arms. Sir, I don't know who you are, where you're from, but if my son trusts you, I trust you. Hold this gun, hold them off, as he broke out the front windows. Everybody's going to be loading up the vehicles. We need to get the hell out of here. We have a train, my dad said. We can get out of this. Good. Take us there.